Vampire bats. It appears that the only mammals that can fly are bats. There are more than 1,300 bat species in the world, but only 3 of these are vampire bats. So let's take a closer look at these interesting creatures. Vampire bats belong to the subfamily Desmodontinae, which includes the common vampire bat, Desmodus rotundus, the hairy-legged vampire bat, Diphylla equidata, and the white-winged vampire bat, Daemus jungi. These species seem more similar to one another than any other. How vampire bats evolved is still debated. It is believed that the feeding on blood trait evolved only once about 26 million years ago, and the 3 species may share this common ancestor. The ones feeding on fish apparently evolved in the Miocene, about 23.5 to 5.3 million years ago, and are still living today. However, the hairy-legged vampire bat most likely diverged from the other 2 species around 21.7 million years ago. This species is the most basal of living vampire bats. It feeds on bird blood, and it is thought that the first vampire bats may have fed on it too. Another hypothesis suggests that vampire bats ascended from insectivores, being insect eaters. They live in arid to humid tropical and subtropical regions, such as in Central and South America, spreading from Mexico to Brazil, Chile, Uruguay, and Argentina. Vampire bats tend to live in colonies in almost completely dark places. Bat colony numbers can range from single digits to hundreds in roosting sites. They can be found in caves, old wells, hollow trees, and buildings. Their food source is solely blood, a dietary trait called hematophagy. Animals feeding on blood is actually rare. These individuals face several challenges to overcome for success. Vampire bats feed mainly on blood, therefore, a large volume of liquid may be potentially overwhelming for their kidneys and bladder. Blood is a source of protein, which in excess could cause kidney problems too. They are at risk of iron poisoning. However, they developed a high level of resistance to a group of blood-borne viruses known as endogenous retroviruses, and bats insert copies of their genetic material into their host's genome. Vampire bats leave their roosts to hunt only when it is fully dark. They can feed on almost all animals, bite porcupines, armadillos, snakes, sea lions, and even penguins. The common vampire bat feeds primarily on the blood of sleeping mammals such as cows, pigs, horses, and birds. Cases of occasional bites of humans for blood are quite rare. The hairy-legged vampire bat and white-winged vampire bat forage mainly on the blood of birds, with the latter to have a taste for goats as well. They use echolocation to navigate in the darkness and avoid obstacles such as trees or buildings, but also to locate moving prey like moths. They send out sounds of very high-pitched clicks through their mouths or noses. Once these sounds bounce off the bat's surroundings or prey, the echoes are channeled through its large ears into an inner ear. They can locate prey by sensing the sound of an animal breathing and approach it on the ground. Bats use their heat sensors on their noses that can detect temperature increases to find a good spot where the warm blood flows close to the skin on an animal's body. Humans can have similar sensations while their molecules are placed on pain-sensing nerves in tongues, skins, and eyes, allowing them to taste spicy or hot foods, or alarming them when about to touch a hot object. But the bats do not suck the blood. Instead, they make a small, about 7 mm wide and 8 mm deep, painless incision near an artery with their needle-like teeth. They let the blood trickle out and lap it up with their tongues like a cat. To get through such obstacles as fur on the skin, the common vampire bat uses its teeth to shave the hair away. Their teeth are very sharp. What keeps them permanently sharp is the lack of enamel. In the bat's saliva, there are several compounds, such as proteins, that prolong bleeding. These anticoagulants prevent blood clotting. Other compounds prevent the tightening of blood vessels near the wound. It has been documented that leeches and blood-sucking insects, like mosquitoes, use similar elements. The bats can sometimes drink blood from an animal for more than 30 minutes without them noticing and waking up. The blood lapping doesn't even hurt their prey. These bats are able to recognize the breathing patterns of one animal, like a chicken, and come back to feed from it night after night. The bats are so light and weigh just 40 to 55 grams, or only 2 ounces. However, they can double it in one feeding. Normally, they would only consume about half of their weight in blood. To enable them to take off after the feeding, the bat begins to expel urine as soon as within 2 minutes of eating. Even after losing much of the blood's liquid, the bat still has gained almost 20 to 30% of its body weight in blood. Therefore, to take off from the ground, the bat uses its strong hind legs and a special thumb to generate extra lift by squatting and tossing itself into the air. It may take up to 2 hours from the time when the bat starts looking for food to return to its roost to rest and digest its meal. Their body can reach the size of 3.5 inches, and the wings, while fully spread, can be almost 7 inches long. The skeleton of a vampire bat consists of thin, hollow bones that are ideal for flying because they are lightweight. The skin stretches tightly over the framework, consisting of the delicate arm and finger bones, forming the wing membrane. They can put themselves in hanging upside-down position by using its 5 clawed toes. Vampire bats can move along the ground using their feet, wrists and thumbs at more than 3 feet per second. It seems that vampire bats are the only animals whose ancestors lost and re-evolved the ability to run. The bat uses its wings to fly. It pulls the wings downward by using its muscles in the chest and upper arm. It is then raised by muscles on the back. The wings enable the bat to move through the air and turn at high speed. They have a wing membrane between the legs that may be used to catch and hold insects until the bat is ready to eat its prey. Vampire bats have short, conical muzzles. They don't have a nose leaf, and instead have naked pads with U-shaped grooves at the tip. Their eyes are very small with very sensitive vision, although they don't possess the sharp and colourful vision humans have. However, they can see even in pitch-black conditions. The average lifespan of a bat in the wild is about 9 years. Having just blood on their diet, bats never put on fat, and thus they don't store energy. The bats can only miss just 1 or 2 meals. After that, they can begin to starve and die. There is no guarantee they will find food every night. Vampire bats are well known for their social life. So, how does it work in the basic social structure of roosting bats? The majority of the colony is made up of female groups and their offspring, a few adult males known as resident males, and a separate group of males known as non-resident males. Although in hairy-legged vampire bats, the non-resident males' numbers can be higher, and they can be more involved in the social structure. When the temperature drops down, the non-resident males are accepted into the harems for social thermoregulation. Mostly, resident males copulate with the females in their harems. Female bats gather in a special nursery roost to give birth to their pink, naked babies. Other female bats engage in social grooming and are especially friendly towards new mothers. It has been observed that other bats have been feeding the mother for about 2 weeks after the birth. Young bats crowd together for warmth while their mothers leave the nursery roost to hunt for food. On their return, the mothers can identify their offspring from the huddle by the sound it makes. Vampire bats can use the same system of antiphonal calling to identify and to monitor the positions of individuals of the same species in the outside of their roost. They form complex social structures and relationships like humans, primates, and dolphins. Female offspring usually remain in the groups they were brought up in. Several subgroups with unrelated females can be found in a group. For male offspring, life in their natal group finishes after about 2 years since their birth. It is likely that they will be forced out by the resident adult males. Vampire bats are known for forming strong bonds with other members of their colony, in particular for the sharing of food. When an individual fails to find food, it will often beg another bat for blood. A donor bat may regurgitate a small amount of blood, just as a mother bird might regurgitate food for its baby. It is possible that vampire bats may give preference to aid their relatives first or exclusively. However, they help non-relatives too, as it may benefit them in times of need, as the individuals that have been fed in the past will come back and feed their previous donors in the future. There is a theory that individuals share food in order to limit harassment by begging individuals. However, it was discovered that the donors were likely to approach those starving bats and initiate the food sharing process, and it seems that the aim was to maintain the social safety network. On rare occasions, adult humans can become a meal. If this happens, they will easily survive it, as the vampire bats can only consume about a tablespoon of blood. Although it is strongly recommended to get a rabies shot, as it can be transmitted to humans by vampire bat bites. It is more likely that the transmission of rabies comes from bats rather than dogs generally being immunized against rabies. Out of the 192 human cases reported during the study period, 70% of them were transmitted by bats, reported in the study carried out between 2009 and 2018. Livestock is more exposed to bat bites and higher than the risk of infection to the human population. Only 0.5% of bats carry rabies, and those infected are likely to be clumsy, disorientated, and unable to fly. The protein in vampire bats' blood is called draculin and has been researched as a potential anticoagulant treatment for stroke patients. Because of their high-protein diet, it is easy for vampire bat researchers to locate their roosts due to the pungent ammonia aroma produced by their feces. Despite the fact the vampire bats were first officially described in scientific literature in 1810 and documented by Charles Darwin in 1839, the tales of undead monsters called vampires were told by European communities even before Spanish conquistadors and Christopher Columbus's encounters with the blood-sipping bats. The release of Bram Stoker's Dracula, a novel, in 1897, has established a relationship between vampires and bats in Western culture. These videos take a very long time to create. If you would like to support the channel and assist in improving it, then do please subscribe and give us a like, and consider joining our Patreon, links in the description.